What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my 2020 season predictions for the NFL. Cross your fingers. Hopefully the season's going to continue. It should. I would hope so. I would think it's gonna go as normal outside of the lack of fans in stadiums and whatnot. But outside of that, the season should be going as planned and whatnot. With the season opener happening in less than a week, I figured I'm going to give my predictions on the 2020 season. I'm just going to go talk about every team's record, spend a minute or less on them because there's 32 teams, and that'd be like a half-hour video. So just going to kind of go quickly through it, just tell you what my prediction is for each team's record, and just why. Normally it's because of a gut feeling or something. So you can look back on this in 4, 5, 6 months or whatever and be like, wow, that guy's an idiot. He had this team going really bad and they were good, or he had this team doing good and they were bad or whatever. But yeah, just kind of doing this for fun, like I did back in January when I did my playoff predictions, which I actually was not too far off. I had the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl, but I had them losing to the Saints, so I was a little off there. But yeah, let's jump into my predictions, starting in the AFC North. Also, by the way, these predictions, they all add up and whatnot. It's not like I have a bunch. It's not like if you add them all up, it's like, wait, that's more wins than losses all around or whatnot. I use the website Playoff Predictors playoffpredictors.com. Great website for doing this stuff. I'm a nerd, so I like being on this website a lot. But anyway, to the predictions. In the AFC North, to start things off, I have the Baltimore Ravens not going 16-0. Like some people have been saying, having them going 12-4, winning the AFC North, and then obviously making the playoffs. They're going to be the 2 seed. There's a lot of people talking about how the Ravens are the best team in the league. Maybe they are, but my gut says they're not going to go 14-2. They're not going to go undefeated. They're not going to go 15-1. I think 11-5, 12-4 sounds about right for them. And then right behind them, I have the Cleveland Browns at 9-7, getting the 5 seed, that first wild card spot there. I like how they brought in, I believe it's Kevin Stefanski as their head coach. I mean, anything is probably better than Freddie Kitchens, but they're a very, very talented roster. I think the big question mark there is Baker Mayfield. If he can make things work, especially on offense, they got Chubb. They got Kareem Hunt in the backfield. He's got Austin Hooper and OBJ and Jarvis Landry to throw to. Their offensive line isn't great, but they did draft a rookie in the first round of the most recent draft. And then their defense is pretty good, especially with Myles Garrett. So I guess the question there is then, as I said, can Baker Mayfield put it together? Because I think if he can, then the Browns are going to be going to the playoffs. I have them making it at 9-7. Right behind them, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers also going 9-7, getting the 6th seed there in the playoffs. I mean, they almost made the playoffs last year without Big Ben, with guys like Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges. So I think that they'll probably make it. I'm not as high on them as other people. I know there's just people having them go like 12-4 or whatever. I'm not that quite high on them. I don't know how Big Ben's going to play after his injury, but I do have them going 9-7, making the playoffs. And then finally, the Cincinnati Bengals at 4-12. I like how they got Joe Burrow. He's got some good weapons. They're not necessarily that bad of a team. I just don't believe in their coach, Zach Taylor, I believe is his name. I just don't believe in them. They don't seem to play with a lot of heart for him, like you saw in the Bengals-Dolphins game last season. The Dolphins actually wanted to play, hard and whatnot for their coach. Even though they still only won 5 games, the Bengals players seem to care less, honestly. But I have them going 4-12. In the AFC South, I have the Houston Texans winning the division, but just with a 9-7 record. They traded away DeAndre Hopkins. Don't know what that was all about. I guess, well, other than he wanted to get paid more and they didn't want to, so they shipped him over to Arizona. But yeah, Deshaun Watson, he just got paid big time. And I don't think they're necessarily bad, but just a little bit of a step down, going 9-7. Right behind them, the Indianapolis Colts at 8-8. They got Phillip Rivers there now. I think he'll be solid for them. I could see the Colts going maybe 10-6, maybe even 11-5. I could also see the Colts going 6-10. I have them going right in between there at 8-8. No playoffs for them. Then behind them, the Tennessee Titans, probably one of the most overhyped teams I would think going into this season, although it's kind of deserved. The fact that they almost went to the Super Bowl this past season, but as we've seen in the past, momentum does not carry over into the next season normally. Derrick Henry, who knows what he'll be like. Same with Tannehill. I think they're kind of just maybe both riding hot streaks and whatnot. I don't think they'll be as good this season. I do like their head coach, but those are two of their big playmakers, and yeah, I just don't have them doing very good. I have them there at 6-10. And then finally, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them going 2-14. I was actually going to have them going probably 5-11, 6-10. I wasn't all on board with the whole tank for Trevor Lawrence kind of a deal. But then they cut Fournette. And then they traded away some players. And I was like, okay, yeah, they're probably tanking. So I have them going 2-14. And I don't remember if they get the first overall pick according to this. And according to this, they do. So they might just get Trevor Lawrence. I really do like Gardner Minshew, though. Outside of like just the memes, like he's actually looks like he's a really good player. So I hope if they do end up with the first overall pick that they don't take a quarterback, because I really like Minshew, but it might depend what he does this season. In the AFC East, I have the New England Patriots winning the division at 10-6. Tom Brady out of the division now, but Bill Belichick is still there. I think Cam Newton, he could very well win Comeback Player of the Year. I think, yeah, he's going to be the starter, at least going into week 1. I would assume he's going to be the starter throughout the season, unless he plays bad or gets hurt or something. But I have them going 10-6. Bill Belichick is still there. I got to see it to believe it, to think that the Patriots are bad. Behind them, I got the Buffalo Bills at 8-8. Personally, just not a big fan of Josh Allen. Just his accuracy is a little off and whatnot. He's not necessarily a bad quarterback, but I do like the Bills. I like their coach. I kind of like the team they have. I just have them going 8-8. Behind them, I have the Miami Dolphins at 7-9. They feel like maybe next year they could make that jump. You know, if they can get Tua Tagovailoa. I think I'm saying that right. Another year of experience, then his rookie year of experience, and then maybe next season they could go, I don't know, 12-4 or something, because they got a lot of big pieces in the off season, a lot of big free agent signings, and then obviously their hopeful quarterback of the future if he can stay healthy. And then finally, I have the Jets at 6-10. The Jets, I like some of the players there. I want Sam Darnold there to develop and be the guy for the Jets. What I don't like is Adam Gase, their head coach. And I think as long as he's the head coach, they're not going to have very much success in New York, so I have them at 6-10. And then finally, in the AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions, I have them going 13-3, getting that 1 seed there. And, need I explain more? They're so freaking stacked, it's insane. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes and his $500 million. And they got, I think, 20 of their 22 starters coming back or something like that from last season, and they're just going to be even better. That World running back that they drafted, he's supposed to be good, and need I say more? They're going to be good. I have them going 13-3. Behind them, I have the Denver Broncos at 9-7, getting that 7 seed, that brand new 7 seed in the playoffs there. 9-7. I think Drew Lock can take a step forward. He's got some nice rookie receivers to throw to as the Broncos double down on that. And I think they'll be back to being a solid team. Behind them, I have the Oakland Raiders. They were almost kind of a playoff team last year, but then they kind of fell apart later in the season. I have them ending the year at 6-10. Actually, they're not the Oakland Raiders. They're the Las Vegas Raiders now. I forgot about that. But yeah, I have them going 6-10. That just feels right for the Raiders. And then finally, the Chargers. I have them going 5-11. I like Anthony Lynn, their head coach. Don't really like Justin Herbert, but we'll have to see what he can do. I think Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting going into the season, but Herbert's almost definitely going to get some playing time. And I just feel like at the very least for Herbert, it's going to be a little bit of a rough rookie year. Even if they start Tyrod all year, probably 5-11, 6-10. So I have them finishing 5-11. Now, going over to the NFC, we're starting with the NFC North. We got my favorite team, the Green Bay Packers. I have them going 11-5, getting that 3 seed there. I do have them taking a slight step back from last season, record-wise at least, but I still think they're going to be really good. I could definitely see Rodgers really, I guess, stepping up his game because he has seemed to be a little off the past few years. He hasn't been throwing very many picks, but the touchdown is only in the 20s, which is not bad. But that'd be nice to see him throw 30+ touchdowns again. And but yeah, I think the Packers are going to do good. I have them going 11-5, winning the North. Next up, I have the Minnesota Vikings, just missing out on the playoffs at 9-7. I like Kirk Cousins. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. But I don't like the Vikings. And maybe there's some Packers bias coming out here, but yeah, I just have the Vikings going 9-7. Just my gut feeling there. The Detroit Lions, 7-9 is the record. I have them going, but I feel like they very well could go 10-6 and make the playoffs. They were actually playing pretty decent last season before Matt Stafford got hurt, and then they ended up only winning 3 games all year. But I don't think they're that bad of a team, honestly, but I do have them going 7-9. And then finally, the Chicago Bears, I have them going 6-10. They feel like they're the only team without a franchise quarterback going into this season, whether it be a rookie or a veteran or something like that. Like, they feel like the only team that doesn't really have one. They got Mitch Trubisky, who they just announced is going to be starting in Week 1. And then they got Nick Foles, who is so hot and cold. Who even knows if he's going to be playing good or bad, the coming up game or whatever. And so I have them going 6-10. Now in the NFC South, maybe a little bit of a surprise here, maybe not. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the division at 11-5 because they're just so stacked. With obviously the big news of the free agency, they got Mr. Tom Brady. They just signed Leonard Fournette. They got LaShawn McCoy in the backfield as well. He can throw to guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And they got Gronk back and O.J. Howard. And their defense is good too. And I really like what they're building there. I was going to, I was going to have them be a wild card team. But as you're going to see here, I have the Saints going 11-5 as well. But even though they split games with the Bucks got the tiebreaker there for the division. So the Saints are going to be the 5 seed in my predictions at 11-5. Taking a slight step back. Drew Brees is getting older. I think that might be one of the primary reasons for it. But still a great quarterback. Obviously, like a top 10 all-time. He leads in yards, and I think he has the most touchdowns as well. But Tom Brady's right on his tail for that. Next up in the South, I have the Atlanta Falcons going 4-12. I don't actually really think they'll do that bad, but just, my predictions all got to add up and whatnot. And that's kind of just the way I had them going at 4-12. I like Matt Ryan. I like, obviously, like he has Julio Jones and he has Ridley to throw to. I mean, they got Todd Gurley. Their entire starting offense is made up of first-round picks. But I don't know. There's just something off about the Falcons. Ever since they lost Kyle Shanahan, they just haven't been able to do it. They started awful last season. I think they were like 1-7, and then they ended up finishing like 7-9 or something like that. But I think Dan Quinn, this is probably his last season there. He probably should have gotten fired last year. But I think this will be his last season there as they go 4-12. And then finally, I have the Carolina Panthers at 2-14, another 2-14 team in my predictions here. I guess they're another team, kind of like the Bears, that doesn't really feel like they have a franchise quarterback. Feels like Teddy Bridgewater is more of a bridge quarterback. I don't know what their plan is there, if they want to maybe get Trevor Lawrence or something, or maybe they're just not going to be as bad as I think they are. But it just doesn't feel like Teddy B is going to be the man of the future. Like, feels like the only guy there who's like really good is Christian McCaffrey. And then they got like Robbie Anderson and some other guys on offense. Their defense is solid too. But just my gut feeling says the Panthers are not going to be very good this season. And I do like their head coach, though, that they got Matt Rule. But I don't think he's going to be having a winning season this year. Now in the NFC East, I predict the Dallas Cowboys. I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. As a Packers fan, they're kind of like out-of-division rivals. But I have them going 13-3 and getting the 1 seed in the NFC. because their team is pretty stacked. They don't have the Great Wall of Dallas, that offensive line, like they did 4 years ago, back when they went 13-3 when Dak was a rookie. But they still got a pretty solid offensive line. Ezekiel Elliott has been consistent throughout his career, no matter how good or bad the Cowboys' O-line has been. And then Dak has got some great weapons to throw to. He's got Amari Cooper, who's probably a little overrated, but still a really good wide receiver. He's got Michael Gallup. He's got, I think it's CeeDee Lamb, who they drafted. So he's got some really good weapons to throw to. And this is probably a make-or-break year for Dak, who I believe is also playing on the franchise tag. But just my gut feeling, the Cowboys are going to be really good this season, I think. And then in second place, this is going to be a little bit of a shocker, I would say. I have the New York Giants at 9-7. I like what their coach is doing. I think it's Joe Judge. They got him over from a former Patriots coordinator or something like that. And I just really like what he's been doing there. And I think he can kind of bring that New England kind of mentality to New York. And I think Daniel Jones can take a little bit of a step forward. They also got Saquon Barkley. If only they had a number one receiver for him to throw to. I don't know, like Odell Beckham or something like that. But I think the Giants are going to be a pretty solid team at 9-7. But because I have them at 9-7, I do have them making the playoffs as well as at the 7th seed. Behind them, I got the Philadelphia Eagles also at 9-7. I like the team. I like their coach, Doug Peterson. I really like Carson Wentz. I think he's probably he's definitely a top 10 quarterback in the league. Maybe top 5. I don't know about that. But definitely a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. But just, I don't know. The Eagles, they've gone 9-7, I think, the past 3 years. They barely made the playoffs last season. And that's just kind of my gut feeling. 9-7. And then last in the East, we got the Washington football team, formerly known as the Washington Redskins. I have them going 3-13. They're a mess. They're just a mess of a franchise. I don't know who's going to be starting at quarterback. Probably Dwayne Haskins, but Alex Smith, I think, wouldn't necessarily be a bad option either. They also just cut Adrian Peterson, which was kind of confusing. But, yeah, they're just a mess of an organization. 3-13, worst team in the NFC. And then finally in the NFC West, I have the San Francisco 49ers getting the 2 seed at 12-4. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl for a reason. They're a really good team. Their defense is really good. Just dropping one more game than they did last season at 12-4. And then behind them at 10-6, I have the Arizona Cardinals. I like what Cliff Kingsbury is doing there in Arizona. Kyler Murray, I think, will be good, but I don't think he'll be an MVP. I'll give you my MVP prediction in a few moments here, but I don't think Kyler Murray, just because he's a second-year quarterback, that he's just going to blow up and throw for 40 touchdowns or whatever and rush for 1,000 yards or anything like that. I do think the Cardinals are going to do good enough to make the playoffs, obviously, here at 10-6, but I think part of it will definitely be because of Kyler Murray, but it's not going to be because he's going to play like an MVP, I don't think. But yeah, I have the Cardinals making the playoffs there. In third place, I have the LA Rams going 8-8. I like Sean McVay. You know, I really liked watching the Rams back in 2017 and 2018. And then last year, they kind of just fell off a cliff. And I don't know what happened necessarily, if they just figured out Jared Goff or what. But I really like Sean McVay. He's stuck with Jared Goff because the Rams gave him that fat contract, but I think they'll be competitive at times, but in other times they'll just be like, this is the team that went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and so yeah, I have them finishing 8-8, and then dead last in the NFC. This might get a lot of people mad, but I have the Seattle Seahawks also finishing at 8-8. I'm not as high on the Seahawks as a lot of other people are. I think their record last year was better than they actually were last year. And yeah, it's just, once again, my gut feeling, they got Russell Wilson, and that's kind of it. I mean, I know they got Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. They just signed Greg Olsen. But yeah, I don't think Seattle's going to do very good this season. I have them finishing 8-8. No playoffs for them. So now I'm going to give you just a quick playoff predictions, the matchups, and who I think is gonna win and whatnot. According to my predictions here, I have the 5-seeded Cleveland Browns playing the 4-seeded Houston Texans, and I'm going to give the win to the Texans. Deshaun Watson, he's got more playoff experience than pretty much anybody on the Browns. you know, because they have made the playoffs since 2002. And yeah, just, you know, the Browns a step in the right direction. They made it to the playoffs, but they're not going to be able to win one here. Texans get the dub. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers playing the New England Patriots, and I'm actually giving the Pittsburgh Steelers the dub here over the Cam Newton-led Patriots. Just once again, a gut feeling. That's what most of this is. And then also in the AFC have the 7-seeded Broncos going to play the 2-seeded Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens. And I have Lamar Jackson finally coming out on top in a playoff game, winning that one and moving on to the divisional round. And then on the NFC side of things, I have the New Orleans Saints traveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I have Tom Brady's Buccaneers getting the win there. Then there's the 6-seeded Cardinals traveling to take on the Green Bay Packers, snowy Lambeau Field there. And I have the Packers winning that game. And finally, the Giants at the 49ers. I have the Niners winning that game, but probably in a little bit of a blowout or whatnot. But yeah, that's my my wild card predictions. Then next in the divisional round here, I have the Houston Texans traveling to the Baltimore Ravens, and I have the Ravens winning. So look at that, Lamar Jackson, he's up to 500 now in the playoffs. And then I have the Pittsburgh Steelers losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, like I said, who's going to stop the Chiefs? In the NFC, I have the Packers playing the 49ers. I actually have the Niners beating the Packers in the regular season. Obviously, they beat them twice last season. That was kind of rough to watch for me. But today, or at least in this potential playoff game that I have the Green Bay Packers coming out victorious. You know, Matt LaFleur learned from his first few times taking on San Francisco, and maybe Aaron Rodgers can just get it done now this time against the Niners. And then I have the Buccaneers at the Dallas Cowboys. And every time the Cowboys do good, they do bad in the playoffs. At least they have for the past 20 years. And that's going to continue. They're going to be hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and losing to them. So, that's going to take us to championship weekend, where the Baltimore Ravens take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And just because I have the Ravens winning, I don't want to necessarily predict the Chiefs going back-to-back, because that's just kind of boring. Maybe they probably will. I don't know. But the Ravens aren't half bad either. And I have them going to the Super Bowl. Who are they going to be playing against? Well, in my matchup here, the Buccaneers travel to the Packers for the conference championship. And I have the Green Bay Packers coming out victorious and traveling to the Super Bowl, which I believe is actually in Tampa Bay this year. And then here's where my Packer bias really shows. I have the Green Bay Packers winning the Super Bowl over the Baltimore Ravens. So yeah, I'm a Packers fan. Yeah, I'm biased. I chose them to win it. So what? Maybe they will. That'd be awesome. But yeah, my prediction, my preseason prediction for the season. I have the Packers beating the Ravens in the Super Bowl. And yeah, that's my predictions there and whatnot. And then also, my prediction for the MVP, I went through a couple names. I was thinking maybe Cam Newton. He actually, not really, he was kind of down there. I was thinking maybe Dak Prescott, maybe Deshaun Watson, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo, or Tom Brady, or Kyler Murray. But all those guys I'm kind of just like about. And I'm going to make the boring choice. I didn't make the boring choice sending the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. But I am going to make the boring choice of sending Patrick Mahomes his second MVP award. That's my prediction there. He's going to win the MVP, his second one, because he's Patrick Mahomes and he's so gosh darn good. Well, I think that's going to be a wrap for this video. Just some dumb predictions that I can look back on in 6 months and say, golly, I was stupid. But if you enjoyed it, that'd be awesome if you left a like and smash that subscribe button, or just, you know, gently click it or tap it on your phone or whatever. But I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching my stupid predictions. This has been Jeffrey, reminding you to stay moist.